My 3 biggest prednisone mistakes. I had to take prednisone to save my life. And even though I'm a pharmacist, I made some mistakes in the way I took it. And I don't want you to make those exact same mistakes. So let me share the mistakes I made so you don't have to make them. Don't do these things that I did. First of all, I just continued living my normal American life even after I started taking prednisone. The biggest problem here is that I kept using the same bedtime routine that I had been using before prednisone. And that didn't work for me while I was on prednisone. Before taking prednisone, I was working from home in front of my computer late into the night. It was the only time when I could have my kids asleep and be able to get the work done that I needed. And before prednisone, I could work for like 2 or 3 hours after the kids went to bed. And then I could just go to bed and I'd be able to fall asleep. But when I was on prednisone, that was no longer possible. Prednisone made it really tricky to get restful sleep at night. In fact, prednisone causes insomnia as the #1 tweeted side effect. And so if you're taking prednisone, it's really tricky to get the sleep you need to recover from whatever it is you took prednisone for if you continue treating sleep the way you might have as a normal American like me. Second, I went off prednisone way too fast. Now, I wasn't doing anything my doctor hadn't asked me to do, but for my body, the tapering strategy that my doctor used was way too much. In fact, I went on 4 days of incredibly high doses and then nothing. When we went from super high to nothing, I felt okay that first day, but then the few days after that, my body just felt down, drawn, exhausted. I was going through withdrawals. I needed to actually have a taper. And so never ever go cold turkey off of prednisone. Always, always taper off slowly, following your doctor's orders and staying in close communication with your doctor about how you're feeling. I've got a whole bunch of videos all about withdrawal and tapering if you want to know more about that. But you've got to make sure that you never go cold turkey, because that could not only make you feel awful like I did, it can actually lead to adrenal crisis and even death. So never make that mistake. Number 3, even though every pharmacist knows that prednisone causes osteoporosis, that it's the #1 drug that causes osteoporosis, I didn't think it applied to me yet. I thought I was only going to be on 10 to 14 days of prednisone and then I was going to be able to stop it. I was wrong. I was on it for 9 months. And 9 months of the huge doses I was taking was more than enough to cause bone loss that can progress to osteoporosis, which can lead to fractures, loss of height from the spines compressing upon themselves, and even bone death from osteonecrosis. I took action too late. We need to be taking calcium and vitamin D and doing what the doctors who prescribe prednisone the most, the rheumatologists, say. Doing all we can to minimize that bone loss, because even 1 dose has been shown to increase the hormones that break down bone and decrease the hormones that build up bone, leading to bone loss. So it's vital that you don't make this mistake I made of causing bone loss by not taking the precautions you need to be taking. There are even other mistakes you might be making that I knew about because I was a pharmacist and I didn't make those mistakes. But I've made enough mistakes, even with my doctor of pharmacy board certified training, that if you don't have that luxury of having gone to school for as many years as I did, you might be making even more mistakes. And I don't want that for you. That's why I created the Prednisone Mistakes Quiz. In it, you can answer the question for yourself. What's my #1 prednisone mistake? You just answer a few questions. It takes less than 2 minutes. And then you'll know at the end what your #1 mistake is. And then I share my best tips for how to overcome those mistakes. Just click the link below to take the What's Your #1 Prednisone Mistake quiz now. Signing off as Dr. Megan, a prednisone pharmacist.